So, welcome to all of you to the first podcast with our Honorable Director, Professor B.S. Murty. And, sir, greetings to you and many thanks for your time. And we would like to know how you thought of creating or establishing this particular podcast in IITH and with what aim.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this particular podcast. I'm happy that IIT Hyderabad is starting such a very important activity podcast for the benefit of rest of the world. And as I was mentioning to you earlier also, that at IIT Hyderabad, a lot of innovative things keep happening, whether it is academics, research, technology development, startups, all these things. Quite a number of people do not seem to be knowing about all these things that are happening at the campus. We thought that this is one good way by which we can bring people, faculty, staff, students who are doing various exciting things at the campus and interview them. And through these interviews, we project what are the great things that are happening at IIT Hyderabad to the rest of the world, so that the world comes to know good things that are happening at IIT Hyderabad.
Yes, sir, when we announced that you are going to appear for the first podcast, we got lot of enthusiastic response from students, staff and faculty members, including us. And we will asking few questions from there. Now, if you see, sir, you are leading us in the second term, and we are very happy also that many things you have done in the first term, which has really led the progress of institute, accelerated in fact.
Sure.
Now, IITH has completed many years of its existence. How would you see that another 10 years it can contribute to the growth of Viksit Bharat that you often talk, and what would be the distinctive national problem you think that IITH should take up?
2 points there. First point is what would the IIT Hyderabad should contribute in the next 10 years. That's what you mentioned. In principle, IIT Hyderabad started as a different institution when compared to many other older IITs. We wanted to be innovative. Okay, we started what is called fractal academics. We gave a lot of freedom to students. We strongly believed that innovations will happen with open minds, with who have freedom. And in principle, if you want to have out-of-box thinking can only come from minds which are very free. So this kind of an environment we have created, and that has led to a lot of good things. For example, in terms of research, a lot of interesting areas where we are doing good research. You know about autonomous navigation. You know about the 5G, 6G that IIT Hyderabad is doing. A lot of work that is happening in the healthcare. AI, we are again number one. So like that, if you look at the variety of things, even in advanced materials, critical minerals, we are doing a lot of good things. So keeping that all these in mind, that, and we have been growing a lot to an extent that we have crossed some of the older IITs in terms of even ranking. So I'm going to see a bright 10 years ahead that IIT Hyderabad will be able to put India into kind of a global leader, at least in some areas. I'm definitely sure that in the healthcare domain, in the AI domain, and particularly also in the 5G, 6G autonomous navigation domain, even additive manufacturing domain, many of these domains, I'm sure IIT Hyderabad is going to be the leader and show the country and the world a kind of as a hub which nurtures innovations in technology development.
Yeah.
I'm very confident about it. The second thing that you mentioned is about, let me just recollect, about
Viksit Bharat.
Viksit Bharat.
Distinctive national problems.
Yeah. So important. When I am a strong believer that if a country has to become a Viksit Bharat, okay, a developed country, it can only happen when there is a lot of product development and technology development happens. As of today, IITs in general are known for creating bright academicians, bright engineers, and India is well known for what we call it as a service country. Okay, but it is important that India should be known as a country where products are developed, technologies are developed, which are sold everywhere in the world. And that is the direction where IIT Hyderabad would like to contribute significantly in the near future, to show that IIT Hyderabad leads the country in generating human resources which are builders of the country. Okay, we would like to see that everyone coming out of the IIT Hyderabad to build the whole ecosystem of technology development, so that the country is proud of them.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, being innovation in the DNA of ITH, the questions are to encourage innovation. Is the thrust towards writing basic papers is important, or it should be the product based, or something that you can guide us how it has to?
Ideally speaking, it should be a balanced approach. Fundamental research is important. Without fundamental research, technologies do not develop. For example, if there was a lot of work once upon a time before the nuclear energy was even thought about. A lot of work on fundamental physics, on atomic energy. Okay, both in US. It has happened in India also. It has happened, and that has led to development of nuclear reactors and things like that. So all that has been basic physics. Similarly, here also we need to have a basic fundamental research to be encouraged, so that we talk about high-end, high-quality research coming out. While you know that India is known to be number 3 in the total number of publications that we bring out, we are not number 3 in terms of the quality of research.
Okay.
So how do we focus on quality research, so that your research becomes a kind of a beginning to somebody else, even sitting abroad, to take it as a pioneering work for them to start doing research. This is something which is very important.
Right.
But more important simultaneously is developing products, developing technologies. Okay, right. So that is where innovations can only help. So we would like to see that both these are strongly supported at IIT Hyderabad, and to ensure that innovations come based on a very solid foundation of basic research.
Right. So, sir, while we talk about it, you have been, support lot of interdisciplinary research. In fact, you were the person who created Center for Interdisciplinary Program, and many of the departments got benefited out of it. So, how do you see to infuse more energy to that particular area where the faculties really come and create technologies?
So I am sure you will agree with me that boundaries between sciences have been drawn by us. Nature does not draw these boundaries.
Right.
Where is physics, where is chemistry? Nature does not differentiate.
Right.
It is you. You call it as mechanical engineering, and I am a metallurgist. Okay, these boundaries are drawn by us. So in principle, when a product comes out, when a system comes out, when a component comes out, it's all interdisciplinary. For example, if a rocket is going into the space by ISRO, you will know that large number of people, starting from physicists to AI people, all of them will work together.
Yeah.
Okay, and without that, the system cannot be developed. So that is why it is important that interdisciplinarity should be a DNA of any scientific program or any scientific institution for that matter. So that's what, as you rightly pointed out, IIT Hyderabad has been trying to do its best. We started saying that let us bring interdisciplinary programs. Okay, we brought a number of master's programs which are interdisciplinary in nature. And we also said that let faculty come together and start working together. Okay, you remember long back we started, if one mechanical faculty wants to work with one electrical faculty or a metallurgy faculty, we will give some funding, 10 lakh rupees as ID projects we started. Then we said ID PhDs, we said we will support you with an extra PhD student if two departmental faculty come together. This way we want to see more and more of such collaborations. And these collaborations will bring a lot of synergy, and so that value addition happens to your thoughts with somebody else's thought joining hands together. And if India has to grow significantly towards Viksit Bharat and also Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is important that this kind of interdisciplinarity is important. And also nowadays students also, as they grow, they want to have skills in varied disciplines. They don't want to be straight-jacketed engineers. It's important that engineering and humanities should come together. You remember that we have started liberal arts and creative arts as 10% of the credits, which are a must for an undergraduate student. It's all because of that. So that we bring interdisciplinarity in the way we grow.
Right. Sir, you also supported master's program which is based on the product, medical
amazing.
device innovation.
Correct.
How do you see the PhD with the product?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would, in fact, I want to propose in the upcoming Senate that if a student, okay, we usually say a PhD student to submit a thesis, you need 2 papers. I say that if you have 2 granted patents, we should also be able to allow them. Because some people, there are always a group of faculty and a group of students who are more theoretical in nature, or their focus is more on publications. Okay, but publications, while they are important, they may not bring out products. India needs products also. So in principle, if there is somebody who is trying to develop products, they should also be supported. They may not be able to write a paper, okay, because many a times a product development needs a different type of work, which may not be accepted by scientific journals. So as a result, I'm trying to propose, if we can have 2 granted patents, we should also consider it as equivalent to 2 Q1 papers. Or if somebody has a technology transfer that they have done, okay, during their PhD, that should also be considered as this. So we should move towards a stage where, like our MTech program on MDI, okay, that your product is your thesis.
Right.
We should be able to encourage students that your product is your thesis, even for a PhD. Okay, there should be no problem in doing it. Only thing is, our mindset has to be changed a little bit. When an examiner comes and sees where is your thesis, the student will say, sir, this is my thesis. My product is my thesis. Okay, you have any questions about the product? Ask me. I will answer it. Okay, that is how it should be.
So do you think, sir, for this also you require the support of industries?
Exactly.
Which will, like medical devices, hospitals are associated.
Absolutely, you are right. See, any applied research, any product development cannot happen without the support of an industry. Ultimately, it is that industry which has to take up. Whatever you do, even a product development in a lab, you only do at a small scale. You cannot do at a large scale in a lab setup because of the facilities and things like that. So as a result, there has to be somebody. If you remember, recently we gave funding to our faculty members where we said, if you have an idea at the TRL level 2 or 3, okay, and you want to take it to TR level 6 or 7 or 8, okay, we will give you 25 lakhs to you, provided an industry is willing to give you 10 lakhs.
Right, right.
We got about 20 proposals, and finally we gave 12 proposals sanctioned, 25 lakhs each. Each of them have brought an industry who said, I will back you with about 10 lakhs. And if a good technology is going to come out, I am going to take this forward and see that this becomes commercial. So this is how we should try to ensure. So in principle, I would like to see as we go along, every MTech project, for example, you see that we have started what is called industry lectures as a mandatory for MTech now. And we are asking these industries to say, do you have any problem that our master student want to solve it in 1 year? We would like to see that a large number of MTech theses coming out which are industry defined problems rather than a professor defined problems. Because a professor defined problem to a large extent might lead to a paper. Okay, but an industry defined problem may lead to a product.
Right.
Okay, so we would like to see more and more of that.
Yeah. Sir, how do you see, you have been meeting many industries also, is there any change in the attitude towards backing the academics? Earlier you will see that they will be So any comment?
Sure. Very important, basically because India is now supporting a lot on Atmanirbharta. You remember DRDO, okay? DRDO and services in general, okay? Once upon a time used to import a lot from outside because it is much easier to import. You need to put in a lot of efforts if the same thing has to be developed by us. But now that slowly our Honorable Prime Minister said by 2030 the imports have to come down by 50%.
Right.
Then you started seeing a large number of these services started. For example, we have a Center of Excellence of Navy on our campus. We have a DRDO Center of Excellence on our campus.
Yeah.
Okay, how are all these happening? So that they work with academia like us and we work together to develop products which are going to replace any of the imports that we are going to happen.
Right.
So the same thing is happening to industry also. Now government is saying that if you are going to develop more and more products in India, for example, even if you are buying an equipment, nowadays government says you first go for a domestic tender.
Right.
And if nobody is available, then only go for a global tender. So this clearly tells you that first search for, are there any Indian companies which are there, which are ready to make a product and satisfy you. So this is going to happen. And this can only happen when industry will work with an academia.
Right.
Alone they cannot do it.
Yes.
Okay? Because there are some fundamental problems which they are not tuned to solve. That we as academicians can do.
Yeah.
So that's why I am seeing now we have really a golden time all around.
Right.
Okay? In the next 10, 20 years, India is going to really leap forward and move towards what our Honorable Prime Minister keeps on talking about, Viksit Bharat,
Right.
a developed country. When I was born and you were born, we always were told that we are a developing country. How long you want to be known as a developing
Right,
country?
right.
It's time that India should be known as a developed country and rub shoulders with giant countries which are known for quite
Right,
some time as
right,
developed
right,
countries.
right.
So we should be able to develop products. This can only happen when industry and academia work together.
Yes, with Suzuki and Mits, so they have also come. So it is a very good thing for us.
For your information, friend, today we have inaugurated another center on the campus with Mitsubishi has opened their center on our campus now. Okay, and just now I was talking to another company. Until it gets opened, I will not be able to reveal the name.
Right.
But there are so many companies which are coming to India, IIT Hyderabad now. They want to open space. If you look at great institutions like MIT and Stanford, they became popular because they allowed industries to come and
Right.
take a space in their academic campuses.
Right.
Similarly, IIT Hyderabad should move forward to ensure that more and more industries take space in our campus so that they get located on our campus. For example, what Mitsubishi has opened today is they call it as co-creation center. Center for co-creation they call it as. So this is exactly what should happen.
Right.
Co-creation, where industry and academia together will create things.
Right. So, sir, going ahead with, do you think while the divergence of the skills are happening and the demand by different companies, so what are the other programs that you would think is important for the upcoming manpower, particularly from LA or design point of view?
First and foremost, most of the academic institutions started focusing more on degree programs to a large extent. It is important now we should have certificate programs which are skill development programs to a large extent. See, slowly I am very sure 10 years down the line, people will not recruit anybody based on the degree certificate that they have. What skills you have is what people are going to see. Okay, so we should be able to impart the right kind of skills. That's why nowadays when we are offering even a course, we say what are the learning outcomes
Right.
rather than saying what am I going to teach.
Right.
So this becomes very important. As a result, IIT Hyderabad also is now moving in the direction of skill development. Okay, so we are starting, for example, recently MSME, the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Scale Industries, they have given us about 25 crores to set up a skill development center. Suzuki has also given funding to set up a skill development center which is called Next Bharat Skill Development Center, which we have started on October 31st. So all these are going to bring people, and we are going to ask industry what kind of skills you are looking for in your employees, and we impart exactly that kind of skills, so that you are creating the right kind of human resources that are needed for individual industries. And that's what exactly. They are not looking for people with a lot of degree certificates. They are looking for people with the right kind of skills who are needed for the industry to move forward and create the products in India which will make India Atmanirbhar, and at the same time Viksit Bharat.
Right. So there are many futuristic technologies coming up. And so how do you think the IITH should, take a lead in some of them? And for example, AI leadership, then quantum, etc.
Very important. Good question you asked. AI is really going to and has already started making big leaps, okay, and AI is going to really as a kind of an omnipresent god. It is entering into every field, starting from agriculture to aerospace to space research, everywhere that we see AI coming up. So it's important that we should focus on how to bring AI into every engineering. There is no point in treating AI separately. And for example, I have been seeing in many private educational institutions, people are slowly closing departments like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, sometimes even chemical, metallurgy, all of these. And if we keep on encouraging more and more on only AI being taught by computer science faculty only, okay, right. We should not have programs like that. Right. We should have AI being taught by civil engineers, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, okay, even metallurgical engineers. For example, at IIT Hyderabad, we have an MTech program called ICME, Integrated Computational Materials Engineering, where we teach how to use AI to design a new material. Okay. Now, chemical engineering is coming up with a new MTech program called AI for Chemical Engineers. Yeah. Okay. So you need to integrate AI into hardcore engineering, so that AI is built on a strong foundation of engineering. Right. When you have AI built on an engineering foundation, it will have a much more applicability rather than AI being taught separately as AI. Okay. Right. They will not be able to understand engineering problems. This is the reason why IIT Hyderabad, a few years back, about 4 or 5 years back, we started a BTech in computational engineering. You remember we have all these computer science guys. Right. Most of these computer science guys end up into software jobs, okay, which are mostly fintech jobs. But none of these guys are going to Tata Motors, for example, to create a new automobile, are going to ISRO to create the space rocket. The reason is their engineering skills like fluid dynamics are not being taught there. Right. Are things like multi-scale modeling is not taught. So we started a BTech in computational engineering. One of the first IITs to start such a program, where we teach solid mathematics to begin with and build on top of it solid mechanics, fluid mechanics, multi-scale modeling, including even genomics. Right. So we have created a new undergraduate program which will make these people a computational engineers for a manufacturing industry rather than a software industry. Right. So this is how we need to create engineers who are well equipped with computational knowledge and AI domain knowledge along with their engineering domain knowledge. That is the need of the hour.
Right. Sir, telling the very important aspect of the research and all, how do you see in the current age professors in IITs to take up this multi-domain and multi-skilled, starting from research, administrative to optimize, and how should they see this particular job in this era?
Exactly. Very interesting question again. You see, the point is every one of us have our own domain knowledge. I'm a metallurgist, okay, and I know how to design a new alloy. But I don't know much on AI. Okay, I don't know much on how to design a new automobile. Okay, I know which material should be used for automobile, but I do not know how to. That is where interdisciplinarity comes in. That is where collaborations come in. You know that recently IIT Hyderabad has started an MTech program on lightweighting,
Right.
where mechanical engineering, your department, and our materials engineering department both have come together. You teach the design, you teach the manufacturing aspects, these people teach the materials aspect. So that we start creating new human resources who have the knowledge that is needed for the automobile companies to design the lightweight materials, lightweight products, and also materials knowledge how to bring in lightweighting. So exactly the same way that not everybody need to stop their subject and start learning new subjects. You start collaborating.
Right. Right.
So that you become strong in your own domain knowledge and take the domain knowledge of somebody else and work together.
Right.
And that is making an opportunity for us to collaborate.
Right.
So the new era is leading a lot of throwing not only challenges but giving a lot of opportunities for us to work together.
Yes.
And I think we should utilize this as a wonderful opportunity to come together. Okay.
Right.
So AI faculty with mechanical faculty, now you are doing a lot of robotics. Okay. So that also needs a lot of AI. Okay.
Right.
The Tihan is doing a lot of work on autonomous navigation. That also needs a lot of AI.
Right.
Even agriculture needs AI. Yeah. Recently, I had a discussion with Nalsar University where they are saying, sir, law needs a lot of AI. Law needs a lot of cyber security. Can we not work together? That we teach law, you teach cyber security and AI for us. So that it is not that the law faculty there need to start learning now cyber security unnecessarily. Okay?
Right.
Instead of that, let them learn more and more of what are the new things that are happening in law.
Right.
Okay? And we come forward and join hands with them to teach the required things for them so that you create the right kind of human resources.
Right.
Ultimately, what is needed is the right kind of technically superior human resources who will be able to transform the whole country and make the country Viksit Bharat.
Right. So now, as you rightly said, there is a golden era of India, and everyone should, get up, stand, and contribute. Now, this is also very nice to see the foreign universities are coming and collaborating with us. Not just so. What are the opportunities for the researchers or to jointly offer the courses with them are available, sir?
You already know, we already have started with joint doctoral programs. We first started with jointly supervised programs. Now a number of universities have started coming to us to start joint doctoral programs. They have moved one more step further to start joint centers. Now we have a Deakin Joint Center, Swinburne Joint Center, we have a Purdue Joint Center, we have now a joint center with Monash, we have a joint center even with a Japanese university called Shimane University. Okay, so now joint centers are coming up. Now the next step that they are talking is, can we talk about joint masters program? Deakin is now talking about it, Swinburne is talking about it, a number of people. We teach a few courses, you teach a few courses, and the student will do a joint master's thesis. Can we not have this kind of, so that students get the advantage of the knowledge that is available at both the places, so that he or she will have a value addition, and finally they become useful for the whole world. Okay, we are not only creating people for the country, but we are creating people for the whole globe.
Right.
And that is something that we should encourage more and more. We are now seeing more and more people coming to IIT Hyderabad. Okay, so there are people who are saying that we want to send our students for one semester. University of Illinois recently told that we want to send our students for one semester to your university. Okay, are you willing to take them? So this is the kind of things that are happening. Okay, so we would like to have more and more of this kind of exchanges. There's a lot of cultural knowledge that you will come to know in the process also, and also learn from each other and what kind of scientific knowledge that each of them have.
So with these opportunities, sir, perhaps it is time for us to also adapt and change the system so that those things are enabled.
Correct.
Now,
see, go ahead. You have any more question on that?
Yeah, so on that I don't have, sir.
So what is important is, one thing that you see in US is a lot of freedom. Students have a flexibility. You just join a degree program, you have to complete certain number of credits. What credits you do is up to you. That is something which India has not adapted to a large extent. IIT Hyderabad has attempted to some extent. For example, you know, we have BTech in what is called engineering sciences. Okay, so this is something which is very unique, where the student has a lot of freedom to choose courses. We also said if you join even in mechanical engineering, your department will teach only 60% of the credits. Remaining 40% is free for you. You decide where to take courses from. So this kind of flexibilities are important. Okay, and this is something that we need to learn from the universities abroad. So where there is so much of flexibility, freedom available, and if we can bring that into, then our students will be extremely happy, Indian students, to be able to join Indian universities. Otherwise, there is always a thinking that I can get a better, exposure outside the country than within the country. We should be able to develop not only a free ecosystem, but also good research facilities. For example, you know, the kind of facilities that we have at IIT Hyderabad, we have more than 500 equipment, which are all costing anywhere between 25 lakhs to 25 crores. Okay, and we have now opened up to NITs to come and do, for example, one full year of their fourth year at IIT Hyderabad, while you do 3 years at your place. This is something which is again unique. We would like to encourage this to happen more and more. Okay, and to see that people get benefit out of that. Provide the best facilities of research facilities in institutions like ours, so that students do not even think of the need to go to any university and do a PhD there. They should be able to say, wow, whatever I have here, okay, is good enough for me to be able to do a great research. I don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah. Sir, for future administrator, you have been from IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, then in IITH for many years. So what is your message to those who want to take their career in administration with enthusiasm? Because people complain that if I am doing research, I can't do HOD job or dean's job or others. So
I can
your
tell you
suggestion.
my own personal experience. I teach one course every semester. Okay, every semester. I have now, in these 6 years, I have never left any semester, any course. I have still, as of today, 7 PhD students. So I manage that also. So life is all for you to decide how do you manage things.
Right.
Okay. So, and a person who want to be a good administrator has to learn how to manage. Right. Everybody has 24 hours of time. How do you allocate time for various things is something you have to decide. Okay. But what is very important for an administrator is to ensure that you, whatever you do, your whole heart is in it. Okay. Never take up anything with a half-hearted mind. So you have to ensure that if you have taken up a job, you are dedicated to that. Okay. And for example, for me, transforming an academic institution where people can do great things is the most important thing. And this should become like a role model institution for the rest of the world. Okay. So that is something which I feel is very important. An institution where there is so much of freedom for both students and faculty to play with things, okay, and bring out whatever they want to bring out. For example, recently when a student got a very highly paid job, when I was chatting with him, he says, "Sir, one of the reasons why I got this is thanks to the fractal academics that we have.
Okay.
You have given us so much of freedom. Okay, the institute has given us so much of freedom, so much of interdisciplinarity I see here. Okay, I can take up anything that I can take up and simultaneously pursue whatever I want to pursue. This kind of flexibility, freedom, if you can give, okay, in India can create great things. So I think that is something people have to be very clear about it, and anybody can become a great administrator. When I joined here, I don't think I have ever thought about administration. I was a thorough academician, teacher come researcher. But then once I was taken up, I said it's important that I see, two older IITs I have worked on, there are a lot of opportunities for us to bring in changes, and we saw here is a platform where we can experiment. So we have experimented together a lot of things. One plus point is we have many young faculty and of course young students, and who are also interested in doing a lot of experiments. And I keep telling people, if somebody says, I have never failed in life, I would say you have never learned anything in life. Maybe you have never experimented in life. It's good to experiment. If possible, you fail once in a while, no problem. Every failure will teach you something. Let's learn in the process.
Right.
And each failure will be a learning stepping stone for us to learn something new and re-experiment one thing with a better wisdom that you gain from the failures. Failures give you wisdom.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, sir, for responding to almost all emails that we write. And it is very amazing that you pay attention to these things as well. Now coming to the research facilities which are developed on sharing basis, how to really make it more useful and productive?
Yes, this is exactly what we are now trying to develop. We are trying to ensure that we have a portal where every facility that we have at IIT Hyderabad is kept on the portal, where there is a way to book a slot by anybody in the country using that portal. You know about iSTEM. Okay, we have a similar portal being developed at IIT Hyderabad.
Right.
We have 570 equipment. All these equipment are going to be on that portal. The charges for usage charges for each equipment is going to be put up there. Who is the faculty in charge is already been put up there, so that people can book a slot and come and use it. Not only that, we want to also train people. For example, on just one aspect called microscopy, we have recently set up a center called Microscopy Training Center. Okay, first time in the country, where we are going to run a few courses, okay, on microscopy in an online manner, okay, which is on a OAT mode, where anybody can attend a course online, and once you get a minimum B grade there, we say you are welcome to IIT Hyderabad to come and stay here for a month or 3 months, depending on the type of equipment that you want to learn. And we ensure that at the end we conduct a drive test, and if you pass the drive test, we give you not only a certificate but make you an official user of that particular equipment. That you can come anytime, book a slot and bring your sample, sit in front of the machine and operate it yourself without the need of any operator.
Right.
This is the kind of ecosystem that IIT Hyderabad wants to develop, and every facility that we have, so that we create a lot of human resources who are well trained on all these testing facilities, so that they don't depend on anybody.
Right.
And at the same time they can book their own slots and come and use it. I am a strong believer that anything that you have should be shared. Okay, sharing is very important, and when you grow, everybody around you should grow together with you. This is something which I'm a strong believer. So that is the reason why I want to see that everything that we have is open to people.
Right.
Of course, we know that we need to maintain our equipment. For that, some money is required. We will charge all of these people a small nominal money, so that we raise our own funds that are needed to maintain not only the equipment but also any spares to be purchased or any faulty parts to be replaced. You need money. So we will raise that with this.
Right. Sir, you will see that when any film is launched, the success of film is being credited to the actors, but there are many supporting staffs. What is the word for from your side to our staff members in the excellence that we are?
Absolutely, absolutely. No institute can become a great institute without three main components. First and foremost is students. Okay, a faculty is here, a staff is here only because students are here. So we need brilliant students, okay, and then we need brilliant faculty who can impart knowledge to them, and we need a brilliant and dedicated staff who are willing to support both these, okay, and that's why we use the word supporting staff many a times, okay. They are here as a backbone to support the whole system. If the system is standing, it is because it is the supporting staff who are supporting. They are all like playback singers. They are not visible
Yes.
in front as actors, but playback singers are the most important. Okay,
Right.
without that the actor, hero or heroine cannot do anything.
Yes.
Okay, so it is that. Okay, a director is not visible. Okay, in a movie, director is behind the scenes.
Right.
Okay, but he is directing it. Similarly, the staff are also like that. That they give all the necessary support day and night. Okay, and that's why we have started a number of ways. For
right.
example, we give what is called Staff Excellence Awards. We have also started what is called Employee of the Month Award. Very recently, I have asked my team to come up with some kind of a performance-related incentive scheme for the staff. How do we support brilliant staff who are going out of their way, okay, beyond their duty hours to work hard for
Right.
making the institution known to be one of the best institutions, and we need to go all the way to see how do we support them to ensure that more and more staff will get aligned towards the vision of the institution
Right.
and see that they contribute significantly.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
I would like to mention that many of my staffs, when I was ahead, they appreciated this fund for supporting their attendance in workshops and all that. So that's a very good
Very
initiative, sir.
important.
Yeah.
Very important.
So now coming to our students. So students, as you said rightly, for them everything is there in IITH or in any institutions. So now, what some of the ideas that was mentioned by our students, that what we should do when the student commute from hostel first and then the academic blocks. So like some they get drained,
Oh,
sometimes
right.
even in the academic blocks, what they are suggesting is if we are having some kind of story kind of library, which they can sit there and interact and read. So
Interesting. Yeah, first and foremost is they're getting drained. Of course, we are in South India. Summer is going to be hot.
Right.
Okay. But one thing that we have started doing is can we create shades for them so that when they are walking all the way, that they will have. I think by the end of this June, July, we are going to have a complete shade from all the hostels towards academic blocks. And between the academic blocks also, where there is a walking pathway, we are going to create shade there so that they at least are saved by the hot sun. This is one thing. Of course, I cannot make the whole campus air conditioned. That is
Right.
not the way.
Right.
And it is also not sustainable.
Yes.
We know this. You are possibly aware that we take a lot of sustainability measures. That in all these hostels, we have a radiant cooling technology that
Right.
we adopt, so that without air conditioning, we are giving a cooler environment to the students in their hostels. We do all this. Okay. But then the second point that you mentioned is about in every academic building, if we can have a place where they can possibly have some kind of lighter reading materials.
Yes.
Could be a good thought. Of course, we have a library. For example, for your information, at our library now, we have brought in a lot of autobiographies.
Yes.
Okay, I want students to be inspired by great people. Okay, so we have brought biographies, autobiographies, and also the history of science. How did science develop? So a lot of money is being spent on this kind of books, which are non-technical, but at the same time important for overall human development.
Yeah.
So that we are doing at the library, but individual departments also can possibly put in some funding towards that, so that you can create some kind of a small library. But then slowly most of the institutions have come out of individual departmental libraries to a central library concept. Okay, so I do not know how well this individual libraries in the department will be utilized, but you can experiment it, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion, sir. And coming to sustainability, recycling and responsible behavior. So the students were suggesting that when it automatically a person, whether faculty, students or staff, can on his own go and switch off the light when it is on, and it means that when it is not being used. So that kind of culture, how to create?
Yes, sir. So we are in India. Unfortunately, in India, the way we are taught is that somebody is there to do your things. Okay. For example, when in our home, okay, if there is a small chocolate wrapper is thrown, you think that the helping maid will lift that, rather than you think that it is my responsibility that I lift it. I have thrown it, so it is my responsibility that I lift it and put it in the dustbin. This is a culture that need to be developed, and it has to start from the childhood of everybody. Okay. Similarly, typically you see that if there is a light unnecessarily glowing somewhere, general attitude is that somebody else will do it. Okay. This habit of somebody else doing it has ingrained into us to such an extent that we are forgetting our responsibilities. Every individual has their own responsibilities towards the country, okay, and towards the institute where you live. So if, as you rightly said, if that can be brought in, we have started a small initiative recently, if you remember. I have written to all the students and faculty saying that you might see that in the institute there are a lot of things that need to be done to improve the institute. If you have any such thought, any idea what should be done to improve the institute in some way or the other, okay, and if you are willing to take the leadership, okay, that I will ensure that this job is done, okay, by running to various sections if that is need to be run to ensure that everything is done. I said I will give you any amount of funding. Okay. And not only give you funding to do it, but also at the end I will put a board that this particular activity has been initiated by so and so. It could even be a first year BTech student. We said we will do it. So that's basically to tell them that giving advices are very easy, but taking the responsibility to implement is not easy. And it is a culture that need to be developed. Right. Honorable Bapu, the father of India, used to say, be the change that you want to see.
Right.
Okay? Right. And that is something that has to be ingrained into all of us. We have to ensure that growth of the country is a responsibility not only of the government but of mine. Right. Okay. Right. So there is an individual social responsibility that every one of us have. So if the institute has to become better, each of us have to contribute to it. Right. And this is a cultural change, but it can be brought in slowly. Right. I will give you a small example. I heard about a city called Surat. Okay, sometime back, about 15-20 years back, there is a municipal commissioner there. Surat was known for one of the worst cities where plague has come. Okay, there are so many rats who roam around in a city called Surat. Right. So people know it as a place which is kind of dirty. Okay, this gentleman started cleaning all the roads whole night, and all the roads are cleaned. And then he said, if somebody is throwing a chocolate wrapper, I will charge you a fine of 500 rupees. Okay? And this message he has spread it to everybody to an extent that even school going kids do not throw a chocolate wrapper. It seems they used to say, Rao uncle will feel bad. Okay. This gentleman is called Rao. Okay? And somehow he has been able to inculcate that feeling among even the children. Right. And then, at one day, Surat got the most beautiful city of country. Right. They got an award. Wow. So all this is possible. Okay. Only thing is there has to be a will from all of us. Right. That I always tell, no American will come and change India. If India is dirty, it is because you are keeping it dirty. Okay. Right. If IIT Hyderabad is not beautiful and it is dirty, in case that is because we are not taking care. We have to take care. Nobody will come from outside IIT Hyderabad will make IIT Hyderabad beautiful. Right. We should make it.
Yes. Sir, thanks for making the campus green. And how do you see increasing the biodiversity in the campus?
I mean, very honestly, I will tell you, friends, 2019 when I came here, okay, I was in tears. Okay, I saw a brown campus. I come from IIT Madras, where it is a beautiful green campus. And suddenly I see a campus where there are almost no trees. Okay, and that is where I felt immediately there is an immediate need to start, plantation. So within 2 months, I came here on 26th of August, and October 2nd, which was Gandhi's birthday, it was a Saturday, we decided to form a small committee which is called Plantation Committee, and we said from now every first Saturday of the month will be a plantation day. We started planting about 1,000 plants every first Saturday of the month. We went up to COVID started. Even during COVID, there were nobody. First 6 months when we did all this, faculty used to come, faculty's children used to come, students used to come, everybody used to plant. Then during COVID, people were not there, but still the plantation committee continued the plantation, at least 500 a month. So now we have more than 50,000 plants that we have put in. If you are able to see about 14 feet height plants now on the campus, they were all started in the last 5-6 years. And now, in fact, I have a big plan of putting about 1 lakh plants on a particular day. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it very soon. And this is something which is important, okay? Keeping the campus green, and green in all respects, okay? We want to make a net zero campus also, okay? So we want to ensure that we slowly convert our whole campus into a net zero campus in all 3 respects. One is in terms of electricity. For example, we have now a 5 megawatt solar. We want to add another 4 or 5 more megawatt solar to see that we become completely net zero, so that we don't need to depend on external power. Similarly, water, we are becoming net zero in water.
Right.
We have a lot of sewage treatment that is happening. We are also doing a lot of rainwater harvesting, so that our groundwater gets enriched, so that we can have more and more of groundwater being used on the campus rather than depending on external water. Similarly, all the waste on the campus is being collected, converted into biogas to some extent, and also into a vermicompost to some other extent, and using that for the whole campus. So we want to ensure that in very soon we will become the first engineering campus which will be net zero on all aspects. At the same time, green campus which will be a beautiful place for everybody to come and see.
Thank you, sir. Sir, IITH had been fortunate to have leaders like you who have aimed or given your thoughts to how it shaped. Now we have magnanimous campus buildings and infrastructures like sports and all. How do you see the future going into?
Yes. Yeah, we have built, both Professor Desai, I have to thank him. He has started in a big way, okay, and then I continued with a lot of some more new ideas, and I think we have been doing very well. As you rightly said, we have a beautiful campus, okay, one of the well-equipped campuses, okay. For example, our guest house is a 320 capacity guest house, which is one of the largest guest houses in among the IITs, I can say. We have a huge sports complex. We have wonderful conferencing facilities,
right.
A good convention center, and our lecture hall complex with about 15 classrooms there. We recently conducted a conference with about 1,800 people in that lecture hall complex, one of the largest conferences ever held in IIT Hyderabad. So with all this, as you rightly said, we have reached a reasonably well grown campus. But then our master plans are much bigger. As I always say, dreams should be as colorful as possible, I say.
Right.
Okay, which is what our Abdul Kalam sir used to say. But he also adds one more sentence there. He says, you should have such dreams which will not make you sleep. Okay, so we have such dreams which do not make us sleep. We want to grow further. We want to reach a campus of 20,000 students as soon as we can. More importantly, an institution which is a leader in terms of academics, in terms of technology, in terms of innovations. So these are the three, I would say, mantras of IIT Hyderabad. We should be one of the best places in terms of all kinds of interdisciplinary programs. Okay, that is one. Second is we should be a place where great technologies are being developed for the country, by the country people. Okay. Third is we should be a place where anybody who has an innovative idea they should think, I should go to IIT Hyderabad. I will be given all kinds of support when I go to IIT Hyderabad to nurture my innovative idea. So this is something that we want to ensure that will be a place where we would like to create such a place. And the fourth and more important also is to spread this message to every university outside the country also, so that they feel there is something at IIT Hyderabad that is different from us, that we should go and experience it. Okay.
Right.
Now I started seeing a large number of students from various countries are coming in groups and spending time with us, and then getting inspired and going back. You remember recently on November 15th, we have 37 presidents of Japanese universities were on our campus.
Right.
For the first time possibly it happened in any campus in the country. Okay, so that is the kind of thing. We are taking leadership roles. Now with the Japan government, we have a Lotus program where IIT Hyderabad played a significant role, where we have connected 1,000 faculty members from 23 IITs to 1,000 faculty members from Japanese universities, and 1,000 students have been identified to go for a jointly supervised PhD program. We have started taking a kind of a leadership role there. Now Japan thinks IIT Hyderabad as a hub to connect India to Japan. Okay, and recently the Japan JST president who came here has mentioned that we want to increase the number of students of the Lotus program next year from 300 to 1,000. And they said that we want you to help us to connect India to Japan. And because of that, we even set up a Japan Culture Center at IIT Hyderabad. We said that we will train the students who are going to Japan in terms of Japanese language, in Japanese culture, so that when they are going there, they don't feel everything to be completely new, that they already have some knowledge about Japan before they go. So all these are happening. We would like to see more and more international students on our campus, so that there is a lot of learning from each side.
Right. Sir, thank you very much, and I know that you have limited time, so I will ask one more question. So once Madam Jalalita also asked in the assembly what IITM contributes to the society and the local fraternity. So what is your message from as a head of the institute to the state and national people on the national scale? How we are?
So as you know, I always tell everybody, in spite of repeating once again, I will tell you, when somebody grows, everybody around them should grow. That is an inclusive growth. This is a true growth. Exactly, this is what we wanted to do. We started adopting schools around us, adopting villages around us. We started doing a lot of things. We started a rural development center. Even a student body created called Prayas. Now this Prayas is doing a lot of work. Okay, and in addition, recently we tied up with Telangana government and started transforming the whole education system of Telangana. We have revived the whole diploma curriculum of all the polytechnics of Telangana now. Brought in a number of new programs at the diploma level also, okay, which are need of the for the country. And similarly at the higher education in Telangana we are playing a significant role. We are also connected to at the country level we are doing a lot of things, okay, and ensuring that there is a, for example, GYAN, we are a leader, leading the whole GYAN program right now, and many other such programs we have been leading. Okay, we have also started bringing NIT students to IIT Hyderabad, supporting them to become technologists and researchers in future. So a lot of leadership qualities we are trying to develop, and with the one single goal that that we would like to play a significant role in the growth of India. Okay, significant role when India becomes Viksit Bharat. Okay, in the book that India will write. Okay, there should be a page dedicated to IIT Hyderabad.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure talking to you, and we couldn't really figure out, we have crossed 1 hour, and such is the energy that you bring.